So this is a new anchorage for us, and whenever we go into a new anchorage, what we try and do is sort of understand what the depths are like. So we do a little bit of a circle with the boat just to see if the seabed is nice and flat. And here you can see we're fairly close to the 2 metre line on the chart. However, the chart looks quite different if you look at it on Navionics, and there's a little bit of a deeper patch just to the left of where we've anchored. There's a shallow area just here, and then it goes slightly deeper. We've anchored just on the side of that. The Navionics chart shows that deeper area extending much further. Once we're happy with roughly where we are, we have a look at the different heights that we're going to see. So how much tide are we going to gain? How much tide depth are we going to lose? And then we pick a point where we feel most comfortable. Then it's over to Chris to do the anchoring.
So it's about 7:30 in the morning and we're just about to leave. What I'm going to do is take you to the front with me so you can have a look at what we do with the anchor. Matt spoke about look at the charts, etc. when you come into somewhere, but it's me that normally does the anchor and I don't particularly like being filmed that much. So it's a rare treat, but I'm going to take you and show you what we do. So follow me. This up here is called an anchor ball. You should raise an anchor ball if you're at anchor, and so many people don't, but it is really, really helpful when you come into an anchorage, particularly if the light's not great or it's really busy. It gives you a good idea of who's staying, who's going, you know, where everybody is. I do also believe as well that there is an insurance element to this. So when you are at anchor, you should let people know that you're at anchor and this is how you do it. I'm amazed so many people don't put an anchor ball up, to be fair, but they don't. So the best place to put an anchor ball is essentially in the quarter at the front. So between your front mast, between your mast and your front sail, and literally just hoik it up, put it up so you can see it. Sometimes they get a bit annoying, they spin in bad weather, but it's good that it's there. The way that we set our anchor up is we will work out the depth, and typically we will do no less than a 3 times scope. So you look at the depth, you factor in the tides. So if it's a 3 metre depth and you have a 2 metre tide on top of that, you'd put 3 times 5 out. We have our chain mark, so we have little red and white markers which mark every 5 and 10 metres. So as I let the chain out, I'll just count through that. Now, it depends on the anchorage that you're in and the weather you're going to be anchored in. So if you have a little look around here, this anchorage is completely deserted. It's incredible, absolutely stunning place. What we did know as well though is that the weather wasn't going to be fantastic while we were here. So we could have sort of experienced on the weather sort of up to 28 mile an hour gusts. It wasn't that bad here. So what I actually did was let out more chain. So we did 5 times scope, and once I've done the 5 times scope, I then put the snubber on, which is this bit of kit here. So this snubber attaches to the chain. It takes all the strain of the anchor and it runs back to a firm point. So it runs back onto a cleat that can support the weight. What I don't want to do is to have all the weight of this anchor, all of this strain sat on this bit of kit here, because without this bit of kit I would really struggle to get the anchor up. So this is a windlass. It's controlled on this boat by a remote, and the remote simply just clicks into this bit at the front as so, and it allows us to bring the anchor up or put it down. On other boats, they're sometimes just a handheld device. Sometimes they can be worked from the cockpit. Sometimes they have foot pedals as well. And if your boat's really fancy, you want a hose up here so you can freshwater your chain as it comes on board. For us, we just hope for the best, really, and hope it cleans itself as we go. One of the things that happens, I think, with every single couple in the world, or everybody anchoring, is you tend to have a bit of a row when you come into an anchorage or when you leave. And it's because you can't hear from one end of the boat to the other. So it's not very far, we're not on a huge boat, but with the wind, just the noise of the engine, everything else, you can't really hear. So my goal here is I will shout to Matt, because typically I do this, as to where I need him to take the boat. So we just use hand signals to say whether or not I want him to go forwards, left, right, etc. So help me pull the anchor up, and I want to try and keep the anchor at the front as loose as possible, so we sort of chase it down. Not everybody does that. Some people will just press the button and we'll let the anchor drag them forward. We don't do that, I think it just puts too much strain. We anchor in all conditions, as you guys will have seen from previous videos. We've been out in 40 mile an hour and we've anchored in that. So relying on the windlass to pull the boat and pull the anchor up is a little bit silly. So we will typically spend the time. It takes us a little bit longer to get off anchor, but it means that we, again, keep the strain and just protect some of the equipment on the boat. So that's what I'm going to do.
Just out of shot now, Christine is pointing left, waiting for the boat to go left to take a bit of pressure off the chain, and then she'll start to bring the chain in. So there we go, that's the anchoring. And one of the things that you will have seen as well is I put a little tie through the front of the anchor just to hold it on. I mean, it's pretty secure in there, but you do worry obviously if you get into pretty rough weather, it's going to start bouncing around and it could potentially just let go, you know, if something gives up and you drop the anchor when you're not meant to drop the anchor, which would be rather scary. I'm just going to show you as we go out. More people really should anchor. I mean, this is just stunning. We have been to so many anchorages and there's just no one in them. And I can understand that people are nervous about it, but you really shouldn't be. Get the right ground tackle, practice, and then just give it a go. And if it means that you get one bad night's sleep to build your confidence, then it's well worth doing. Because you get this place all to yourself. It's crazy, I know. This is Pilsey Island where we stayed. As I say, it was a great anchorage. It was an offshore breeze for us, so we anchored in here, so we were constantly pushed off. And as I say, when I made the choice of how much chain to let out, a little bit more because I knew there was no danger of the wind shifting around and pushing us onshore because we were in quite close to just give us an extra bit of protection. Now, I'm not sure if you are going to pick this up, but it's a little bit rough out there. There's white horses rolling into the estuary, into the harbour here, and it can be a little bit choppy when you come out. We're making a bit of a dash for it, as Chris said, because today's better wind. Last night there was no wind at all. It was lovely. We had a really kind of peaceful night in the Anchorage, and then first night we were here was fairly windy. Last night very little wind, and then we've got a picking up throughout the day today, and then tomorrow looks horrific, to be honest. It's gusts of 45 knots tomorrow, so we're going to get ourselves gone today. And the worst bit for us obviously is just getting across or getting out of Chichester, which I think should be fairly calm. I think those waves or that swell is just crashing on the shallows, and then basically it's from the tower about 2/3 of the way across, and then we're pretty much protected from the Isle of Wight then, in terms of swell and everything else, so it shouldn't be too bad. So we've got ourselves up a bit handy. We're getting going. We'll get in the Solent before that weather starts to build, and we'll definitely be out the way for tomorrow. So that's our plan. But we had a lovely couple of days there. Really nice, because as you can see on this side, there's a little bit more. I mean, it's fairly calm now, but a little bit more than normal. The wind and everything is kind of coming straight in, and we've spent a couple of nights here. Well, we spent several nights here, and we've had a couple of quite bouncy nights. We didn't end up staying one time. We went round the corner and actually stayed on the pontoon, but normally we would anchor. But yeah, just because of the wind direction and everything else, it's just blowing everything into that bay. So we tucked in behind the island. So we're getting about 15 knots of breeze now, this is what we expected. And as I say, that's just going to build throughout the day. So we're just going to get going. So there is a big shallow bank here that's, you know, it's literally visible when the tide's down. But you can see what's happening here. The waves are coming in, they're crashing, and then they're actually making a little bit of a turn, which is bizarre, really. They're actually turning this way. So we're hoping, like I say, that the channel is quite calm, really. So we'll just give you a bit of an update. It's not great. Unfortunately, the wind is basically on our nose, so we've not been able to sail. It was supposed to be southwest, but it's pretty much west at the moment. Sea state's calmed down now. It wasn't particularly rough back there, but it's better here than it was. But the visibility's completely dropped, so we're under a mile now. We've got the forts are here just, but I don't know whether you can see them. That's only it's less than a mile away, so yeah, we've got less than a mile's visibility. So we're just there's a plane up here somewhere. Nope, it's all gone. So we just got our nav lights on, we've got our AIS on and everything else, so we can see what's coming. But yeah, there they are, there's a fort. Yeah, the visibility's just gone. It's actually just raining a little bit, so yeah, we've ended up motoring. I don't know whether we're able to sail this next bit, at least put the main up maybe. But it's pretty much dead on the nose, as you can see from up there. Very slightly off, but not enough for sailing, and I'm not tacking everywhere today. It's too cold. So yeah, we're just having a quick look on the phone because I've got AV nav working. Here's mobile data. There you are. You can see where we are. There's nobody around us. We just watched a military boat go into here. But yeah, forts are just ahead. So as you can see, it's a very different day today. I'll just pop my head up. We've got a lot of rain coming in and we've got a lot of wind. So 20, 25 in the marina, 35 out in the Solent, gusting 45. But yeah, not a pleasant day today. I think we're going to stay in the marina.